I know you guys saw the title. I know there are probably questions, and I'm going to answer them. I really want to talk about the importance of being clear on what's important to you before you start your job search process, before you start taking it seriously or being more intentional about it, because it is so easy to get sidetracked by the benefits and the pay or the fact that it's remote or whatever it is. And you can end up at a job that does not align with you or your lifestyle or your goals just because you get distracted by this one shiny part of a job. Okay. So, a little while ago, I was interviewing, and long story short, went through the whole process with this one company. And the very last step of the interview process was with their VP of sales, head of revenue, chief revenue officer. It might have been the chief revenue officer. And I talked to him. We have a great conversation, regular 30-minute interview. And at the end, you know how you talk to someone and it almost feels like they're trying to sell you, especially during an interview, like they're trying to sell you on the job rather than you trying to explain like your skills and what you're excited to bring to the company and that sort of thing. So it was kind of one of those conversations. And at the end, he goes, yeah, I'm really excited for you to join the team. And I just want you to know, if you join us within 2 years, I can guarantee that you will be making $200,000 a year. We already have people doing it. I see it in you. You can do it. Mind you, at this time, I am working at the hospital. Like, things are fine, but working at the hospital, I'm probably making 60. I don't even think I was making 60, to be honest. I might have been making 50 at the time. No bonuses, no commission, no nothing, just like a straight 60. There was some flexibility, definitely, but just for reference, right? And this job was remote. Great company, lots of growth. I had already seen at the time that there were a couple people that promoted, but again, the company was smaller at the time. The team had been amazing up until then. Like, the sales managers had been wonderful to me. And then I meet the CRO and he's like, I want you to join the team and this is how much money you can be making. So for context, when I was first starting my job search process, there were a few things that I wanted to make sure I nailed down. This is the same thing that I tell everybody, to get really clear on what your absolute musts are. That way, when you're looking, you can only do like targeted outreach to companies that fit your criteria. So for me, it was pay. I knew that I was going to be moving out of my parents' house at the time, and I needed to make a certain amount to make sure that I could make rent and be in a place that was comfortable and that sort of thing. I wanted it to be remote, partially because I knew that I was going to be moving across the country and I would have to come home to California every now and again. I might have to go care for my grandmother, that sort of thing. And then as far as benefits, I just wanted to experience what unlimited PTO was like. It's controversial. Some people are like, it's a scam. You never get, especially in sales, you never actually get unlimited PTO. Like, it's just a way for them not to pay out like PTO hours and all that stuff when you leave a company. I get it. I just wanted to experience what it was like, okay? And then, of course, health, dental, vision, and that sort of thing. So we get to this point in the conversation. I'm like, wow, like, that's super impressive. I appreciate that you want me on the team, whatever. Hang up. And probably 5 hours later, the recruiter, like talent manager, calls me and she's like, hey, we want you on the team. Here's your offer. And here's the thing. When I was talking to the sales managers, and I talked to the sales managers during the interview process, but I also talked to a couple of people that had worked at the company previously. And something that they told me is, you can absolutely make a lot of money in this job, but you're going to be paying for it and how much time you're willing to dedicate to it, right? And also, there's not going to be as much flexibility in hours. So you're going to have to be at your computer ready to work from like 8 to 4, 9 to 5, like regular hours, which isn't the craziest thing. But looking at my other options, I knew that there was more flexibility in the other jobs that I had been applying for. And I thought that culture-wise, the other companies would be a better fit for me at this point in my life. Something that is really important to me is my ministry and being able to have some flexibility so that I can do that this day and then work later in the day, or start work earlier and do my ministry in the evening. Like, that sort of thing was really important, in addition to my family responsibilities and wanting to come visit and that sort of thing. So I declined the offer. And here's the thing. I declined the offer, and the recruiter, or like talent manager, whatever, and two of the managers reached out to me within like an hour. They called me and they texted me, and they were like, we really want you on the team. Like, call me so we can talk about it. You know, think about your future. Y'all. I was tempted. Because it's really difficult when you make a decision, especially for a job, and it seems like they really want you specifically. Like, they're like, we want you on the team, okay? It was humbling. It was exciting, but there was a lot of conflict, because I was pretty sure I wanted to take the job offer from the company that I'm currently at. But also, the CRO is telling me I can make $200,000. Now, I don't know about y'all. Y'all might be rich like that. Alexis Antoinette, never in my life had I ever seen a check that would have been as big as my checks would have been. Obviously, like, with some time and promotions and that sort of thing. But, y'all. So I thought about it, prayed about it, talked to a couple people about it, and I called the managers back as well and talked to them, and they were like, look, I don't care if there's a specific apartment building that you want to stay in, where you're moving. We will write a letter guaranteeing that your rent will be paid for the next year, if that's what you need in order to feel comfortable taking this job. Or we can, guarantee that you'll be promoted in a certain period of time. We just want you on the team. Y'all. And here's the thing. This is also, as a side note, why I always say it's so incredibly important to line yourself up and manage expectations before you even enter the interview process, because I really think that was a big part of the reason why they were so excited to have me on the team. Because when I had reached out to them already, they were excited about what I was going to bring before I ever spoke to them, before I had actually had a conversation with them and they had evaluated my skills and all that. So another little tidbit, I think I have another video on that as well. Like, get them excited about you before you go into the interview process. Anywho. So they call and I talked to them for a little bit. I still, after thinking about it, after praying about it, I was like, I still decided to decline the offer. Now, did I cry when I hit send on that email? 100%. 100% I did. But I still think it was the right choice. And here's why. Because now, having spent 2 years at my current company, the flexibility that I have been afforded, the fact that they are not checking my activity throughout the day, like I am trusted to be an adult and to get my job done, as long as at the end of the month my job is done, they don't care. My manager only messages me when it's 100% necessary. I really love my coworkers. The benefits are great. And especially looking back at the past 2 years, in the times when, for example, I have had to go to care for my grandmother, and it's difficult when she has a doctor's appointment or she needs to be, taken to the grocery store or whatever it is, not being tied to my computer and during those like more rigid hours, invaluable. Or even sometimes it's not even about responsibilities. It's how you want to be able to live your life, not just for the weekend. So for example, there have been multiple times where in the middle of a workday, one of my friends is like, do you want to go to lunch? And we can just go to lunch, and I can come back and maybe I can work an extra hour or two later in the day to make up for the work that I didn't do. Or maybe the next day I work a couple extra hours, or do you know what I mean? That flexibility, that ability to manage my own time without a strict schedule, the ability to work abroad. I've worked in the Netherlands and Costa Rica now with no problem whatsoever. Like, they ain't asked me no questions. They were just like, is your job getting done? Cool. That's it. Culture at a company is so important, and making sure that you are very clear on what you're looking for is so incredibly important. And I want to make sure that as you go into your job search, you go in with some clarity on what you want, and you start with what you want rather than just, oh, I need a job. I get it. The job market is hard. There are a whole lot of us who have been out of work for a while, or you're getting behind on bills or whatever. If you are going about your job search the right way, with enough strategy, with the right frameworks, you can choose what job you get. You can choose the benefits that you want, the type of manager that you want, the type of culture that you want, so that your job fits around your lifestyle and you're not having to make as many concessions in your personal life. You can really have a job that works for you rather than you having to mold your life around your job. And granted, what you want might be very different. You might want something that's a little more structured, where someone is kind of holding your feet to the fire a little more. You might need a certain amount of pay, and in order to get a certain amount of pay, it comes with, a little more rigidity. You might want a company culture where it's a little more strict, where maybe you're not, kikiing with your coworkers, but it's more of a very strict professional relationship. That's something that you have to think about on your own. But I just want you to know, you can choose what you want from a job. Like, they're interviewing you, but you are also making sure that it's aligned with you. So, I'm not going to overtalk it, but thank you so much if you've stayed throughout the video. If you don't know, my name is Alexis. Welcome to our little cozy corner of the internet. We get together every day, or just about every day, to talk all things breaking into tech sales, navigating big life decisions, and all around just being a better person while being mindful of other people. So thank you so much for joining. Feel free to hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more. And there will be a product being released soon, kind of outlining my whole process for breaking into tech. I promise you, if you follow the framework, you will have interviews within a few weeks. Promise you will have interviews rolling in within a couple weeks. Okay, so that's dropping soon. So feel free to hit subscribe if you want to see when that comes out too. All right, see y'all tomorrow. Bye.